Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Kindly be seated, be settled down. Now, we have with us a very silent, very calm, very composed, very passionate young man, but who has a deep red in him. Deep red, an activist I was talking about, he has a deep red in him. A guy who's very active in the present and a strong vision for the future. And he is Lawrence from Nigeria.
Struggling to find a job or a career is tough in many countries, but in Nigeria, it is almost impossible. Unemployment rates are soaring up to 23.9%, according to a National Bureau of Statistics survey. And with the population set to double by 2035, living standards for many Nigerians are taking a downturn. And the problem isn't just a lack of education or skill. In fact, graduates are pouring out of high schools and universities. They just have nowhere to go. It's not unusual to find large numbers of young people selling products on major streets of Nigerian cities. They call themselves street hawkers. With no jobs available, they just roam around offering people all kinds of goods in a desperate attempt to just make a living. Now, the federal government says it's committed to finding solutions, and it promises to create 1.3 million jobs by 2015. Recently, the Nigerian finance minister announced the allocation of $1 billion to revamp roads and power grids. And while Nigeria has taken some steps toward reform and job creation, lingering concerns about corruption among officials makes the public pretty skeptical. They're wondering if meaningful fiscal reform is really even possible.
Good afternoon, everybody. On Thursday, 21st of June 2012, I witnessed a highway robbery, and I was a victim of a highway robbery by some young Nigerians. I was on my way to the city where I would take the bus to a place or to board the plane to attend the Kantari course in India. We were 2 hours into the journey when suddenly the bus stopped. And when I looked up, I realized that the vehicle had been stopped by some young guys who were masked and armed. They were armed robbers. I was scared. And the other 7 people in the vehicle too were scared. And there were gunshots. About 8 of them were shooting at the same time. And one of them brought his gun into the vehicle and pointed at us and said, "Get out of the vehicle! If you shout, if you talk, I will shoot you." I was really, really scared. And so we didn't argue with them. We came out of the vehicle. And another one said to us, "Bring out all your money. Everything in you, your valuables, your mobile phones, anything, bring it out. If there is nothing in your bag, something in your bag that I see that you don't bring out, I'll kill you." We cooperated with them, brought out everything. The money on me, the money in my bag that I was supposed to bring to India. They took everything. They ransacked all our bags. And after some time, they left for the bush by the roadside. I was really scared still. The other people were scared. And about 5 minutes, we could not talk because we thought they would come back. And so after some time, we began our journey again. In the vehicle, we were counting our losses, but so many thoughts came to my mind. I remember my relatives, my friends, even some church members that had experienced the same thing. And more importantly, something came to my mind. It was the report that I read 6 years before. that had a huge impact on my life. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you more about this report and how it transformed my destiny and changed my career. In 2003, I gained admission to study business administration in the university. And just like every other young Nigerian, I began to study and to read hard, so I could come out with a good certificate that could get me a job, a good job, well-paid job in banking sector or oil and gas sector. I remember it was on a Friday, November 17, 2006, when my life changed. This change was triggered by the report that I read in the newspaper about over 30 million unemployed young Nigerians. The report says that the plight of these young people is very critical. And it went further to say that by 2020, Nigeria, my dear country, would have raised over 20 million highly skilled criminals. Not highly skilled doctors, not highly skilled teachers, not highly skilled leaders, highly skilled criminals. 20 million of them that could devour the entire country. And so when I read that, I felt bad, and my perspective changed. I began to think of doing something about the situation rather than getting a job when I graduate. And at the same time, I began to think of someday I might become a victim of what this report says. Sadly enough, on 21st of June, 2012, I became a victim of the over 20 million highly skilled criminals that my country, Nigeria, is raising. This is critical. From the report that you listened to, that you watched, is a recent news clip from NIJERIA, and it talks about the unemployment that the young people are facing in the country. This is true. Nigeria has about 170 million people, and more than half of them are young people in the ages of 18 and 35. And several reports have said that more than half of the youth population in Nigeria, that means about 30 million, 40 million of them are unemployed. This is true. If you come to my community, Southwest Nigeria, you will see lots and lots of young people who are idle, who are jobless, who are just roaming the streets. They are doing nothing. And because of this, and because of the uncertain future, most of them are pushed to engage in criminal activities, robbery, kidnapping, internet crime, and others. Maybe you want to ask, what is the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria doing about this situation? Maybe you also want to ask, what are the local NGOs doing? Well, some of them have training programs. The government also have training programs. But unfortunately, these programs are not specific to local talent, local aspirations, and local resources. These trainings are given in vocations that have become highly saturated. Governments or the NGOs, they will gather thousands and thousands of young people and train them in skills like tailoring, like bead making, cake baking, and the like. And when these young people graduate from these training skills, after lots of effort, nobody is ready to patronize them because there is no market for their product. And because there are many young people who are doing this same product. For instance, my sister can bake cake. We can bake cake freely at home. So I don't need to buy cake from any young guy who sells cake. Most of young people in Nigeria can sew their clothes. Most of young people can decorate their homes. So nobody is interested in patronizing these young people when they come out with this product. The situation is highly pathetic. These training programs are not transforming our young people into individuals who see livelihood opportunities in their communities, into individuals who can make use of their potentials. And something can be done. Maybe you want to ask again, what is the cause, the root cause of this problem? Why do we have more than 30 million young Nigerians who are unemployed? Well, I have understood that the education in Nigeria is not transforming these young people into individuals who can make use of their potentials. Can you believe that in this 21st century, in this ever-changing world, Nigeria is still using the same curricula handed over to us by the British in the 60s when we gained independence? Our school education, there is a huge gap between our school education and the skills that these young people need to create jobs for themselves and the skills that they need to even transform the country. Okay? So this school education that we have in the country presently is not raising the kind of leaders, the entrepreneurs, and the solution providers that the country needs. I believe there is a solution. And I know that I can do something about it. I can help Nigerian youth to become creative. I can help Nigerian youth to become critical. I can help Nigerian youth to become highly intelligent and to turn the country into a positive place that people will love to come to. In 2007, when I graduated from the university, I went back home to my low-income community. And my parents were frustrated. They didn't like it. Being the firstborn, they wanted me to stay in the city and get a job so I could send money back home to my younger ones and help them. But I told them, this is what I want to do with my life. My friends also, they were disappointed. They said, it's not possible for you to get a job in the community. Why don't you stay in the city and let us try our luck and get a job here? But I told them, I'm going back home to create a luck for myself, to create luck for several young people. And so in 2008, I had an idea. I started a farm project where young people could come together, we could cultivate the farmland, and we would also make some money. So it was really interesting. I shared the idea with some young people in the church where I pastored as a youth pastor. 5 of them were interested. And the coming Sunday, they brought 9 young people, and 15 of us started this farm. Very, very exciting. One of our parents who took interest in the farm also loaned us 7 plots of farmland at free cost. So the farm started. We were planting corn. We were planting other things. And every Friday and Saturday, we would come to the farm, eat together, do all kinds of training together. I would like to show you some pictures of these farm activities, of the youth in the farm. And this is some of the farm, youth members. We were planting plantain. Plantain is a local type of banana in Nigeria. This is 2011. This is 2008 when we started. And the guy I'm holding his hand is Dami. He's the coordinator of the youth farm project. Next, please. On the farm, we have girls, ladies who come to the farm to practice with us and to learn new skills and to also get our hands dirty. We eat together, we make friends together, and we learn new things together. Please, next slide. This is the youth farm in 2011 when we started planting plantain. And that is Dami. Dami is the one coordinating the farm now. I don't have enough time to talk about Dami. Dami is a young guy whose life has been transformed just because of this project. Next slide, please. On the farm, we eat also. When we work hard, we also find time to eat. Next slide. And this is the entire member of the youth farm as at 2010. Coming to Kantari now is a prayer answer to me. In Kantari, I've gained skills and I've gotten the inspiration to transform this farm project into a bigger thing, into something that will help many young people to become entrepreneurs and to make very significant impact. And so I've been inspired to turn this project into a springboard that will transform the lives of young people. And so I've named my project Springboard. The idea of Springboard is to help young people to become entrepreneurs. And so Springboard, we combine organic farming and entrepreneurship training to create a practical learning environment for young people to become entrepreneurs. And so when they graduate from this program, they can start their own businesses. The program is in 4 stages. Number 1, participants will cultivate the farmland and in the process learn several entrepreneurial skills such as team building, planning, taking responsibility, money management, marketing. Stage 2, participants will use the skills that they have learned on the farm to identify needs in the community and create these needs or turn these needs into business opportunities for themselves. Stage 3 is the apprenticeship. participants will be given to some organizations, existing organizations, so that they can learn more hands-on skills. And stage 4, which is very, very important, is the graduation. I don't just want these young people to leave the farm and don't start businesses. I want to make sure that I help them to get or to facilitate microcredit that they will use to start their businesses, and also stay with them for years, 2-3 years down the line, so that monitor their businesses and monitor the growth of these businesses. And in turn, they can also become role models for other young people in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, this program is much more than a training program. It is much more than a training center. It is the change that Nigeria needs at this critical time. And I believe that this change is in the hands of young Nigerians. And I strongly believe that what young Nigerians need, what my brothers and sisters need at this time, is a springboard that launches them into a new mindset and new perspective. And I imagine a new Nigeria where young people are taking full responsibility for their lives and for the development of the country, rather than blaming the government and blaming the society for the problems that they face. Thank you very much.
Hi, Lawrence. You have a question from one of our online panelists, Marcus, who was a graduate from Kantari. His question. Now, in Lawrence's problem statement, you mentioned 1/3 of your country's population is young people between the ages of 10 to 24 years. In your target group, you plan to target 18 to 30 years. What happens to the age range of 10 to 18 years? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. There are a major problem, or one of the major problems in Nigeria is lack of data, okay? And so when you come to the country, getting relevant data is very, very difficult, okay? But recently I was able to understand that the youth range starts from 18 to 35, and that's why my target group is from 18 to 35. So from 10 to 20 or 24 that you rightly said is the children in that age group are still in primary school and some in secondary school, and they don't fall for they can't be the participant that I'm targeting.
Okay. On a farming project, what happens when there is a risk of infertile land, flood, drought, or unforeseen natural disaster? What is your backup plan?
And luckily, Nigeria does not experience much of that. Tayo is here, you can testify to that. Nigeria does not experience much flooding, those things that affect some countries. So, but in case of if there is any other thing, probably maybe we have flood in future, we'll work it out. Yeah, but now I don't have any plan on that because we've not experienced it. And since I've become a farmer, and since my parents have been farming, we've not experienced that, yeah.
And regarding selling the farm produce, what is the market available for the products from the farm?
There is a huge market for our products. In 2008, when we started planting corn, the challenge was even land. We had more people who wanted to buy our corn. But the challenge was like, how do we expand? How do we plant more? So we get people from the market to come to our farm when it's time to harvest, and they harvest. So the market is there. We don't have problem. Even as I'm talking to you now, they are harvesting our plantain, which we started planting in 2011, late 2011. So there is huge, huge market for our products.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Lawrence. Now to the panelists who are seated here.
Thank you. Thank you for your great presentation. How do you reach your target group? I did not get it until now. How do you reach your target group?
Okay. In my community, all the youth attend mosque and churches. So when I get back home, I have all my plans ready. So when I get back home, I will just go to the churches, go to the mosque, talk to the leaders in these places, and let them know the new programs that I have for the youth in their worship centers. So that's the first way. And then in Kantawi, we learned how to use community radio to attract, to make impact. So I'm going to partner with some local radio stations in my community, and we can see how we can create awareness for this highly needed project of mine in the community.
Afere. Your first name is Afere?
Yeah, that's my dad's name, my surname.
Okay.
My first name is Lawrence.
I liked two things in your project when I read it. First, your development plan, you know, how to become an entrepreneur. Yeah. Also, phase 1, the farming experience.
Yeah.
Phase 2, develop an own business idea.
Yeah.
Phase 3, to make an apprenticeship with a local entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And phase 4,
graduation,
to launch an own business.
Yeah.
And the second thing I liked very much is the parallel between farming, being a farmer, and being an entrepreneur. You know, what can you learn from farming? Yeah. And you say that the farming process provides a practical experience for learning to become a successful entrepreneur. And you give also a lot of examples. A farmer is patient, allowing his crops to grow and mature before harvesting. And an entrepreneur sacrifices instant gratification for the sake of long-term success. So that's a wonderful example.
Thank you.
Now, I have a critical question. You want to measure the impact of your development training. And you say that the major success of this training will be measured by the number of beneficiaries that successfully start and manage their own businesses in the community. Okay? Yeah. Now my critical question. When somebody enjoys phase 1 and wants to remain farmer because he discovers farming as something he likes and would like to do for his or her own life, this is also a success of your program. Or if somebody is doing an apprenticeship with a local entrepreneur, maybe as a carpenter, as an electrician, a craftsman, you know, and he discovers his own talents, being a craftsman or a mechanic, whatever, and he wants to remain a craftsman, then I think this is also a success of your program. So you do not necessarily to become your own entrepreneur. Being a farmer, you say it yourself, means to be an entrepreneur. Being a craftsman, you have your independent small business, is also, you know, an entrepreneur. So what I mean, you can be more generous in measuring the impact of your program. What do you think about this?
Thank you for the question. Well, as at now, there are lots of young people in my community who are unemployed. And there are many people or small businesses who are not even ready to get young people to work with them. Okay, so if during the apprenticeship there is a particular organization that wants to retain one of my participants, the main goal is, the farm is to help you to understand your life, to give you a new mindset, to give you a new perspective about life. So I'm not going to be forcing anybody, you must do business, you must start this business. So when someone wants to hijack you to help him to run his own business, then is that what you want for your life? Is that what you want to do? If that's what you want to do, then you can go ahead and do it. But the major success of my project is the larger impact of the mindset change it has on the community. Let's live our life. Like in the farming process, like the one I said, you must be patient like a farmer. Don't go for instant gratification. You have to, don't follow shortcuts. Farmers don't follow shortcuts. They have to wait for the harvest season. They don't harvest before harvest time. Those are the things that I want to enter these young people. So those are the skills I want them to imbibe. So, but eventually, when you start your own businesses, they are not just businesses, or you are not just starting businesses for starting sake. You are identifying needs in the communities and turning these needs to businesses. There are many young people who are unemployed. It will be a thing of joy if you start your own business and you employ 2 other people, 3 other people, 4 people. But if someone has hijacked you, then that's all. You are not helping the community to grow. Because if that person wanted to employ you initially, before you came to my own training, he would have looked for you. But he hasn't. Now you have gained new skills, he wants to hijack you. So.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, for your nice presentation. And I wish you very good luck. You know, it's a reality in the whole world, even in my country of residence, that people move to where the jobs are. What exactly are your plans for the future? How do you envision to create more jobs in rural areas?
Thank you very much. My 2 brothers, elder brothers, they presently are working in Greece, Athens, Greece, and what they do is to wash cups. They wash cups, they do menial jobs, and let me tell you how they got to Greece. My brothers got visa to Turkey, and there are no jobs in Turkey. My eldest brother went to Greece under a trailer for several hours. Before he embarked on that journey, he called us and we said the last prayer together. That risk is not necessary. There are opportunities in Nigeria. My second brother went in a boat from Turkey to Greece. When he got to Athens, he was almost killed. There are millions of young Nigerians. When Tayo talks, he will share his own experience. Millions of young Nigerians who are going through the same thing, and they are being killed. I want them to know through my project that there are opportunities in Nigeria. Open your mind, man. Open your heart. Open your eyes. In our communities, we have resources. Can you believe that toothpick, Nigeria buys toothpick from China and India? Why are we not producing toothpick in Nigeria? Can you believe that palm kernel, the first one that was grown in Malaysia, was taken from Nigeria? Now, Nigeria is buying palm oil from Malaysia. Why? We export our crude oil to America, and they sell back to us. Why? Why are things not working in the country? Why are we not developing our enterprises? Why are we not making use of the opportunities that are abundant in Nigeria? These are the things I want to open the heart and minds of these young people to. Let's make use of these God-given resources that we have. We have it all. Don't let us risk our life in a sea, in a ship, in the name of making or washing cups abroad. So this is my plan, and that is the future that I'm going for.
questions. Anyway, you need all the best wishes to take this through. One thing is like, I would like to ask two questions related to the dynamics of entrepreneurship, which forms part of your whole project. One thing is, from your presentation, what I gather from your presentation is that it looks like a national level youth movement in the form of entrepreneurship development program. So I think it is going to have, whatever you problems you presented, whether it be joblessness, underdevelopment, lack of opportunities, all these things, all these actually economic problems created by the economic structure of Nigeria are actually structural in some sense. They are not just, it is not as if some entrepreneurs, are born or are created, they could use the resources and create a new kind of economy. Note that. There are a lot of structural problems. There are a lot of obstacles created by socioeconomic forces. Things are as they are because a lot of vested interests want it to be so. In economy, in politics, in society. There are a lot of vested interests you will have to confront. You have to negotiate with or confront and engage with to take this through. Because they have, when you attempt some kind of change, you are going to confront oppositions. So how are you going to actually address the issue of this socioeconomic vested interests? Whose interests you are going to actually harm or work against? That is one. Second thing is, as a group of entrepreneurs, it's a kind of basically an entrepreneurship project. There is this question of entrepreneurship being a kind of, a lot of individualism to it. People want to be, to pursue your own project. It often comes in contradiction with collectivity. So how do you, as a movement, retain the spirit or sense of collectivity?
Thank you very much. The bureaucracy of Western countries or the government, now I'm not thinking about that. Yeah, I think nationally, I'm looking into the future and seeing that my project impacts the entire country. But now I'm starting locally in my small community in the southwest of Nigeria. So once I can start there, who knows, maybe in the next 2-3 years, we can see young entrepreneurs springing up from different parts of the country, and then we are collaborating together to make sure that we address the root cause, which is the education. Let's all start inculcating entrepreneurial spirit or entrepreneurship spirit into the minds of the young people, right from the primary and secondary school. So that's what I'm thinking now. So I'm not thinking of the people coming from abroad or their own interest or the government. Let me first see how I can help the young people in my community. And then the spirit of creativity. And I said that I'm not going to be telling them, be a farmer or do this business, do that business. The project itself, the way it's going to be, the way it has been developed, is going to help them to think in that aspect, that they need creativity, they need innovation, they need energy, they need strength, they need thinking outside the box in order to do the kind of things that they want to do.
Yeah, your passion and commitment for your community, your nation is really, really encouraging and really good. Thank you for this presentation also. Yeah, you have said that the root cause of the criminality, increasing criminality, is that the education, the education which is not conducive to the community, which is very old, curricula is very old and all. And also the landlessness, and also is there a lot of, not landlessness, a lot of land is fallow there, not used cultivation. And also, you also have said somewhere that there is a need to change the attitude of young people towards self-employment. So, so you are seeing this Springboard project as a solution to all these things. Instead of going for a socio-political campaign or political movement, you are seeing this as a starting point.
If I got the question well, it's not a political movement, it's an entrepreneurial movement. And the way I see it affecting the entire country is when I start in my community, in the next maybe 2 years, I could approach the government that this project is working. Let's see how we can replicate it in our schools in this community. We have 325 secondary schools in my town, so let's see if this thing can be tailored to the school curriculum, and let's make it work.